What's up, freak bitches? So today we're talking about Brian Johnson, aka the Liver King.
What up, Primals? Liver King here. Welcome to my channel.
Instead of framing this as a natty or not, because let's face it, he doesn't need a natty or not, clearly all naturel, I'm going to be assessing his 9 ancestral tenets, just because I think that's going to be more educational and useful and interesting.
The first ancestral tenet is sleep, because that's a time the body and brain detox, recover, rebuild, and restore.
Give me some try.
We can go months without food, weeks without water, but only days without sleep before we die.
So far, so good.
To get better sleep, get early morning sun exposure at the same time every day. Finish your last meal 3 to 4 hours before bed. Take in the sunset as a final environmental cue that the day is winding down. Then put on your blue light blocking glasses so that the blue light from your phone and artificial lights inside don't trick your brain into thinking that it's daytime all over again. Start sleeping like our early ancestors did to rebuild your biological resilience.
So yeah, that's overall definitely good advice. I think a lot of people are on their phones way too much, especially before bed. You probably don't want to be eating right before bed as well. That insulin release can get you a little bit hyped up and can definitely impact your sleep negatively. On the other hand, some people find that carbs before bed releases serotonin and actually helps them to chill out and get better sleep. So it is a little bit individual. But overall, good advice, and sleep is absolutely underrated. You see so many people searching for the latest supplement when an extra half an hour of sleep is going to do all that and more for free.
The second ancestral tenet is eat, because we evolved eating the whole animal, nose to tail, horns to hooves. But in the modern world, we choose processed foods and muscle meats over the most nutrient-dense parts like liver and bone marrow. The foods we evolved with for millions of years are the same foods that our biology expects today to heal and be healthy.
Well, I actually agree with this, and it's just a fact that the organ meats are going to have more nutrients. Vitamins, minerals, especially B vitamins, zinc, magnesium, etc., they're just more nutrient dense, point blank. And yet for some reason, we tend to overlook liver, heart, that kind of thing. Pro tip, don't eat the kidneys. They taste horrible.
So ditch the processed foods, the seed oils, and the liquid calories, and start incorporating primal fare.
Oh man, oh God, oh man, oh God.
Like liver, heart, whole foods, bone marrow, and bone broth into your diet to express the leanest, strongest, healthiest version of you.
However, I also think there's absolutely nothing wrong with eating vegetables. I agree with the anti-processed food message overall. That's what most people need to hear. But anti-vegetables, thinking you should only eat meat and go on this carnivore diet, is not what most people need to hear. These same badasses seem to think that when you eat a vegetable, your entire immune system just collapses. If you look at the lion diet, carnivore, this anti-vegetable bullshit really needs to stop. Additionally, processed food is a very general term. So some food is processed very lightly and it's actually very, very healthy for you. Other foods, it's just absolutely not. It's not necessarily the processing, it's how it's processed and what is actually added to it or removed from it.
The third ancestral tenet is move, because what you do with your body is just as important as what you put into it. In developing a healthy approach to movement, one also develops a healthy approach to consumption, where instincts become far more recognizable and beneficial.
I 100% agree. I think that movement and just exercise in general is a very good way to regulate your appetite. Being completely sedentary will absolutely make your appetite go completely out of control for most people. Movement regulates your appetite. And so focusing just on the calories that you burn is not really the main thing to be focusing on. Because if you do that, it seems like exercise is worthless. But when you zoom out and look at the actual benefits, exercise is vital.
The well-being that builds from balanced movement trumps the need for consumption-based satisfaction, like processed foods, painkillers, drugs, and alcohol. Here's how I do it. First thing in the morning, I go for a 30-minute walk. That's my cup of coffee. Early afternoon, I go for a 30-minute walk. That's my afternoon nap. After dinner, I go for a 30-minute walk with my family and my 2 dogs. It's just one foot in front of the other. Give it a shot.
And he makes a good point that just walking is very, very good exercise. It's probably not enough for everything, but it's a very, very good start, and more people need to walk. Just spending time in the gym does not cancel the need to walk. And I think walking throughout the day is going to be something that's very important. Aim to get around 10,000 steps, okay? And more is probably better from a longevity and health perspective. If you're consistently below 5,000 steps, get your ass in gear.
The fourth ancestral tenet is shield, because our early ancestors avoided dangers. But instead of running away from a lion, we need to be running away from processed foods, excessive Wi-Fi, perfumes, and plastics. These dangers end up compounding, and with an additive effect, they disrupt our hormones, our metabolism, and our ability to get deep sleep. Start by turning off the Wi-Fi at night, and stop wearing perfume. Try this. I know it's tough, it's a process, but as you incrementally look, feel, and function better, this will keep you coming back for more.
So it's true that some perfumes, colognes, and plastics can be endocrine disruptors, but Wi-Fi, I can't really find any evidence for this claim at all. And in these tenets, he's not linking any sources at all. And that's the trouble with the internet. Anyone can say anything at any time with no evidence. And usually, people don't even ask. I agree that most people spend too much time on the internet, but there isn't really any evidence that I could find at all whatsoever that Wi-Fi is causing any health problems whatsoever.
The fifth ancestral tenet is connect, because our early ancestors were in constant contact with the earth, 24/7, 365. The earth has a slightly negative charge, which provides a grounding force. But with the advent of rubber-soled shoes, elevated beds, buildings, and cars, we no longer come into contact with this grounding force. The benefits include improved sleep, it's anti-inflammatory, upgrades the immune system, and improves wound healing. And all you have to do is take off your shoes and plant your bare feet directly on the earth. Start with 10 minutes, see how you feel. I bet you come back for more.
So I was skeptical at first, but plot twist, I actually looked up some research, and there's a lot of compelling studies showing the massive benefits of grounding. So I was skeptical at first, but it looks like there's actually data here. Plot twisted back again, all of these studies are funded by people selling stuff that promotes grounding.
Bruh, look at this dude. Wait till you see the... No, 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 no.
And all of the studies are published in bullshit magazines that you just pay to get your study published in. They're not actually peer-reviewed. And this shows that you can get a study literally funded and produced that is 100% bullshit. So just because you find a study that says something, it doesn't mean anything. Grounding might feel good, if you want to run naked through a grassy forest, completely fine.
We're going
grounding
through the quad and into the gymnasium. Come on, everybody!
As long as you don't get arrested for it. But in terms of health benefits, nah. And this is the kind of thing that does feel good. And if you like to do it, no problem at all. But this is 100% placebo.
Everybody's doing it.
Now.
Okay.
Comfort is not good for the organism. That's why the sixth ancestral tenet is cold. Our early ancestors were regularly subjected to cold. It's like we're purpose-built for it. We have brown adipose tissue that's metabolically active for thermoregulation. The benefits include improved blood circulation, it promotes hardening, which is an improved resilience to stress, and it upgrades the immune system, amongst many other things. For you primals already doing this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you seeking a better life, start with 30 seconds of hot, cold contrast showers. Pay attention to how you feel alive afterwards. I bet you'll come back for more.
So there actually is some evidence here that contrast showers or contrast baths can help to reduce recovery time, to decrease inflammation, and to just improve recovery in general. I personally don't think it's really worth it, but if you're in the shower and you want to turn, quite hot to quite cold to quite hot to quite cold, it's pretty convenient and pretty easy, but I'm not sure if the benefits would be as great as with full body immersion, which is what most of the studies are actually on.
The seventh ancestral tenet is sun, because our early ancestors didn't brush, didn't floss, didn't get cavities.
Yes, they did. Okay, cavemen absolutely did get cavities. They didn't really have processed sugary foods, but they still absolutely had dental problems. And we need to get out of this idea of thinking that the ancestral life was fucking wonderful. It sucked.
At the heart of midday sun exposure is vitamin D. This works synergistically in the fat-soluble system with vitamins K and A. This system enables us to remineralize our teeth, it supports key metabolic factors, and improves energy metabolism. If you want fresh breath, go for it, brush your teeth. But if you want all-day energy, a lean body, and strong oral health, nourish your body with sun, liver, and bone marrow.
That being said, I think that getting more sun is almost always a good thing, and most people don't get enough, especially the past couple of years or so when everyone's been mostly inside. I think this is worth making a priority, and vitamin D deficiency is extremely common.
The 8th ancestral tenet is fight. Because men evolved fighting, hunting, protecting, struggling, persevering, winning. And when we win, we get rewarded with a boost of dopamine and androgens that cultivate such behavior. In the modern world, there's not a lot of real, natural opportunities to put ourselves in harm's way. I believe for us men to really thrive, we have to possess a type of high courage. We have to foster an inner fire. We have to really struggle for something of meaning and of consequence. And we have to continue to create ways to win. Look for things that scare the shit out of you.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I agree with this 100%. A lot of men don't have that opportunity to unleash that aggression and that savage side, and it just sort of like, they lose the ability to actually push themselves, to actually fight, to actually go hard. And weight training in general is one of the best ways to do this.
The 9th ancestral tenet is bond. Since the inception of our species, we belong to a far greater purpose. We belong to each other, and we were there for each other.
So 22% of millennials self-report that they have no friends. So we live in an age where communication at lightning speed all around the world is easier than ever, and yet more people are more lonely than ever.
Purpose was in guarding the perimeter to protect one's tribe. Purpose was in hunting and foraging to feed one's tribe. Purpose was in building and tool making and weapon making to shelter and shield one's tribe. Purpose was in teaching and in tradition and in play, to cultivate wise traditions and to deepen social bonds. That kind of purpose decided whether people would live or die. That kind of purpose is what we still need in the modern world to heal and be happy and be healthy. We've always needed each other, and we still do. Start by putting down the damn phone and start spending time with family, friends, and loved ones.
And especially in the past 2 years, again, when everyone has been quarantined and social circles have been decimated, and people have moved around or just stayed at home or gotten addicted to painkillers or drinking and whatnot, this is more important than ever before. And I 100% agree with this tenet. Overall, I think these tenets are pretty damn good. There's a few claims that are a little bit on the dubious side, but these are good rules to live by. And if you prioritize, basic foods, sleeping well, getting in enough sunlight, exercising, just eating a generally healthy diet, it's hard to go wrong. Now, that being said, let's be honest, the way he looks is not just because of following these tenets or his diet of mostly raw meats, especially organ meats. We all know the main reason.
Sauce all over me.
His FFMI is around 28, which is about the size of Arnold. And I wish he would be at least semi-honest about his anabolic use. He doesn't have to detail everything out, every injection or whatever, but just saying, hey, acknowledging it. Because everyone knows at this point, even normies in the comments are like, yeah, but what else is going on here? So I think a little bit more openness in that regard would be nice to see. Also, I don't think we should necessarily glorify our ancestral lifestyles. Let's be clear. In a lot of ways, their lives sucked. They might seem exotic compared to now, but if they could trade places with us, they would do so in a fucking heartbeat. I can guarantee that. Just because something is new or modern, that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. Back then, if you got an infection, you're fucking dead. Game over, okay? And a lot of things could make it game over back then. Whereas now we have tools to actually get rid of these problems. And now we want to go back to this era? or try to stimulate or simulate this era, I don't really see the point. So overall, I think these tenets are pretty good to follow, but don't be dogmatic about them or cultish with regards to our past ancestral lifestyle. You can combine them with a modern lifestyle as well. All right, that is all for this video. Like, subscribe, share. Definitely grab a copy of my book. It doesn't really go into the ancestral side of things or the diet side of things, but in terms of training, this is going to be a very, very valuable resource to help you on your journey. All right, peace.